Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Crash Course. It is episode number 198 on deck tonight. Got a fun one in store for everybody. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the lineups and some of the changes that are waiting for us when we get back to Topeka, Kansas for Blizzard Badge. Only 45 days away. Looking forward to getting out there for that one. Big happy birthday wishes out to a longtime friend of ours, Brad Bergevin. He lives up in Michigan. He is he's a regular demolition derby driver. He's a circle track race car driver. He drives RC cars. He's come to New York to hang out with us on a couple different occasions. We're going to go out to Michigan to see him here next month, celebrating a birthday. He and four buddies all share the same birthday, so they were planning on going out to dinner. Hopefully everybody enjoys a good time. And above all, when they drive home, everybody drives safe. Sending out some well wishes and get wells to Skylar Gully. She doesn't necessarily need the get wells for anything serious, thankfully. She was at Brookfield Wheel Days over the weekend, took a hard shot in the back end, knocked her helmet off, and got a little panicked in the car. They ended up cutting her out of the car. They took her to the hospital. She was fine. She checked out fine, and she ended up getting a heavy hitter award in that truck heat over there as part of Brookfield Wheel Days. We'll get into that stuff a little bit deeper as we move through the show. We're going to be talking with Matt Hofmeister first, and again, focusing our attention on Blizzard Bash. The fantasy leagues are out. We'll get into that, and then after that, we're going to talk to Shawn Ingraham, the young man who won the limited weld class, the full-size class at Brookfield Wheel Days. And then we'll be catching up with David LeDoux, who represented Steerface Racing in a 1-2 sweep of the compact feature. He wrestled the win away in his he had a Camry, if I remember correctly. He had a Camry and went tooth and nail with fellow Steerface Racing teammate Carl Scheimer, and picked up his first win. It was a gigantic trophy that he brought home, and he was a pretty proud fella, and now he's planning on putting that car back together with hopes of bringing it back out for the San Filippo Smash, which is scheduled for this Saturday on top of 4 other demolition derbies that's going to be in and around the Northeast. So we'll get into all that stuff as we move on. First things first, you can see it on the bottom of the screen. The Crash Course New Year's Eve party is back on schedule. That is going to happen. Some folks asked when it was. It's December the 31st because that's when New Year's Eve is. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn right here in Waterloo on Route 414. We're going to have open bar from 8 to midnight. The party starts at 7. We'll do the postseason awards, the Smashed Empire Films recognitions, and that includes the Driver of the Year honors. We'll be doing all that stuff there. And then we've got the buffet, we've got a DJ, we've got the ball drop, we've got champagne toast at midnight, like we said, the open bar. And it's right now through the 1st of November. There's some coupons out there. You got to go find them. They're hidden in plain sight, if you will. It's $280 a couple, and that includes your overnight accommodations, 2 dinner passes, 2 open bar passes, champagne toast at midnight, and midnight snacks as well for anybody who is interested. There are couples non-overnight, and there are single overnight and single non-overnight tickets available as well. It's always a good time. We had 120 people out there with us last year, and it's going to be another awesome good time. And so now we're going to turn our attention to the one and only Matt Hoffmeister. I got to get him on the phone. I heard some rustling outside the door. I thought perhaps we had a co-host coming in with us tonight, but I guess that is not going to come to pass. But the show must go on. So forgive me a moment while I get Matt Hoffmeister on the hotline, talk with him a little bit about Blizzard Bash coming up and looming large on the horizon. Matt Hofmeister going to be... Hey, Matt, are you there? Matt, it's Chris. Can I put you in? Not too bad. Can I put you in? Perfect. All right. We were catching Matt just as his workday ended, so hopefully everything is gonna work out okay there. Matt, on the line from Nebraska. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now. volume was turned down.
Well, we got you now. Matt is changing gears a little bit this year. He's going to be joining Team WRP, the red and gray colors. Daniel Ort, Kenny Rosno, Matt, and Pete Hansen going to be on the team. Pretty good lineup for Blizzard Bash. How do you think everything's going to stack up for you this year?
What's that?
How's Blizzard Bash going to stack up for you this year?
Oh, I think it's going to be interesting for new teammates and up in the Nationals. So pretty exciting.
How tough is the competition when you move up to the national level?
Well, I mean, honestly, qualifying, it was some damn good competition
Right.
the past couple of years that we ran. So
Right.
I know the bigger name, probably harder cars. So I'm trying to make sure I bring my A game, drive against some of the guys that I envy. So.
There's no room though at that table for wide eyes and being starstruck. You go out there and you've got four guys on the opposite side of the ring that are looking to eliminate you just as fast as they can, whether you envy them or not. Is that a fair assessment from the outside looking in? It seems like you got to hit hard regardless of who's on the other side of that ring, or your weekend is going to become very long and potentially very unsuccessful.
I mean, everybody has bad luck, so it could be a fault, or it could be a win for me. So.
How did this team come together? We've seen Daniel Ort and Kenny Rosno stick together pretty tightly the last 3 years. Those guys moved up. They had some team changes last year, and now we've seen a couple of new faces on the team again this year.
Well, sure, it. And Austin's getting married.
Right.
I was a pretty busy man, so they all made the decision that they weren't going to, and so Kenny called me hearing that, and I they were like, hey, we're not going to run, so go ahead. So I hopped on Kenny's team, and then when it came out saying that this is the last chance for qualifying to sign up, Kyle Wetzel went ahead, and he's like, hey, we're running. So they asked me, they're like, you can do what you want. You can stay with Kenny and, check out how the Nationals are, see what it feels like to be in the big name. So I went ahead and did that, and they picked up a new partner, Torrey Hyde, which solid teammate. So and then Pete, and he had some personal event going on, so he ended up backing out, that's fine. And we ended up picking up Scott Vengeance. He's ran down there at the Old Iron mod for Blizzard Bash, so we're excited about that.
The team then at this point, for all intents and purposes, looking forward past 2018 or 2017 to 2018, are you guys expecting to get the whole Shanley Motorsports crew back together for points forward of this?
I mean, maybe not. It's however it goes. I'm not. Nobody has any hard feelings because we're all good friends about it. So. Well,
that was my follow-up question to all that, was that there is no hard feelings then.
No, not at all. I mean, it's more looked upon an opportunity for myself. So, and they all agreed that it was pretty cool to take it. So.
I seem to remember Shanley Motorsports, or it might even have been Team Hoffmeister, was in the national draw at one point, weren't they? A couple years ago?
What's that?
Was Shanley Motorsports in the national draw at one point?
We've been to the teams have been bumped a couple times now, and somehow it just never seems to work. We're not really sure how, but.
So I remember, I think it was Jesse Kunkel from down in Pennsylvania, the Mad Russian, ran with you guys a couple years ago. So it would have been 3 or 4 years ago, right?
That was the first year of qualifying to
okay.
make it in the Nationals. So.
Okay.
And that was, broke the stick too soon. Otherwise, yeah, they were easily the top 1-2. JYD took first, and my brother broke his stick too soon, so a little bit of a rookie mistake, but that's how it goes.
I see. So in terms of this year going in, there's some changes over there. What are you looking for in terms of building? Big question. Have you even started the car yet?
No, I'm actually I'm supposed to be picking up my car here in the next hour. So I'm building a 9802, and been trial and error all summer with the same car. I built that cop car replica looking fix. So
right.
Just trial and error for Blizzard Bash at our county fairs, and so far the car worked out pretty decent because I had a little bit of adjusting to do on the A-arm forwards.
Sure. The interview that we did with Dustin Ingram a couple weeks ago, he said that he prefers to run all summer long, to refine his build, to stay sharp, to get his driving on point, versus saving yourself or focusing on the build or any other reason why people don't elect to drive at the county fair level. What's your position on that? I mean, you mentioned that you had the cop car look-alike that went out and you ran a bunch of times, and you found some holes in the build that you're now going to be able to shore up and bring a better car yet to Blizzard Bash.
Well, I mean, it's better to trial and error than to take something down there that you have, you're not used to or familiar. If you're familiar in a car and familiar with the build, you just can't get, tweak it a little bit here, tweak it a little bit there, you end up bettering yourself, or you find out, what's good and what's bad.
Right. So is this the first time you tried a 9802?
No, that's all I run.
I was going to say it doesn't strike me as a car that's new to you guys, but I could be wrong.
No, it's I mean, the car that's in the shop now for Shawn Motorsports is a little bit new to us, but I'm not one to say since there's it might be a year to bust out the old trick, so that's what we're doing.
Right.
For Shawn Motorsports. But no, I stick with the 9802s, and I just keep trying and trial and error, more or less.
Is that the hardest car that's out there?
What's that?
Is the 9802 the hardest car that's available at this point for what you can bring to Blizzard Bash?
I think it's the most diversified. I wouldn't say the hardest. There's way harder cars on it. West will still run his Duke this very day.
Sure.
I ran it this last weekend from Blizzard Bash, so Chevy's got his points, Mopar's got his points, so
Hang on. I gotta make sure I understand. Did you just say that Mopar has its points for the Blizzard Bash rules?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you caught on to that, but
Go on. I'm listening. Have we got anything to expound on that, or are we just going to leave it at that?
I guess we could just leave it at that.
Well, I can't wait to follow up on that one. That's interesting. That's tipping. I'm hoping that that's a tip of the hand a little bit for things to come. I would love to see somebody who's a believer in Mopars. We've seen the Mopars do well out there. I mean, we've seen Jason Dials and Jake Razorek, Rachel. They've all run the Cordobas out there and done well. And then in some of the lesser built divisions, we saw that it was a mid 60s, like 65-ish, 66 Chrysler Town and Country wagon come through, a couple shockers and stuff. But it just seems like the subframe car does not have, it just doesn't have the same lifespan at Blizzard Bash as a full frame car would. So if you guys have hit on something, I am anxious to see that.
It is. Well, then your anticipation is going to be high.
I can believe that. But that's not something we're going to see this. That's not something we're going to see this year, though.
What's that?
That's not something that we would see this year, though.
Oh yeah, no, it was supposed to come last year, but we're actually, like last night, we shoved the engine and training in last night. There's enough going on that we ended up bending the frame a little bit. So we had to. Jeez.
Man, there's enough going on that you managed to bend the frame before you even got to the Derby.
Yeah, we were pushing in the engine training, and it ended up just taking a toll on the passenger side a little bit. We heard a big bang, or like, what's going on? So everybody started looking underneath, and sure as shit, it put a dent. So, one of them deals.
All right. Is there anybody that you're anxious to see down there? Anybody that you're anxious to bump into when you get down to Blizzard Bash? We ask this question all the time, and it's always the same. It's always the same Mutual Admiration Society answer, but I figured I'd give you a shot.
Anyone anxious to see down there?
Yeah, anybody anxious to bump into? Anybody that you want to get pair up with on track?
Baby dolls, maybe.
Yeah?
No.
Okay. It's the first time we've actually gotten an answer out of somebody, so I like that.
It's always good seeing everybody, especially you only get to see them once a year or maybe 2 or 3 times a year, depending on how much they go to big shows and stuff. So, I don't know, once the new faces are always cool.
Yep.
You know, the people, they're never seen what Blizzard Bash is all about, and how wide-eyed and how cool it is.
The team lists have been out for a little while now, and they're pretty much finalized at this point. But if you look down, there's been some major overhauls on just about all of the top teams. You know, the people that have been finishing in the top 5 spots in the national draw. There's been some changes. There's been some driver rotation, which you can come to expect. You know, stuff just as simple as life gets in the way when you're talking even Austin getting married. He's not going to run. Stuff along those lines. Teams have falling outs, things like that. Does it change the dynamic of the draws? Does it change the dynamic of that team atmosphere when you've got this many of the top teams having new drivers added to the roster?
It makes it difficult. I'm the type of person that I look into the people. You know, you can see who's picking up who, or who's friends with who, or who drives all summer together, and you know, they create a chemical bond to better themselves for all throughout the season to get down to Blizzard Bash sometimes. And so that you got to look at that when they're flip flopping on teams and trying to better themselves, or they have personal things going on and they change out. So it does change who you want to draw sometimes.
Right. What does that do to you guys? Your group is a couple different driving styles now. For your national draw team, again, with Kenny Rosno, Daniel Ort, Pete Hansen joining you on Team WRP. You guys haven't got the geography to run together nearly as much as you probably would have liked to going into Blizzard Bash. What's that do to your level of preparedness, and is the floor more open given that everybody's got new bodies on the team and not everybody has the experience?
Well, Pete Hansen's not on our team now this year.
Okay.
I don't know if you we picked up Scott Vengeance.
Oh, so you were talking about adding him then. My mistake. I thought you were talking about adding him to the Shanley team.
No. Shanley Motorsports picked up Torrey Hyde.
Yep. Okay. I'm with you now.
But I mean, we're newer drivers and willing to take it down as far as we have to. Daniel, he's the guy that he seems to have bad back tire trouble, but otherwise, if he got that, his stuff runs phenomenal, and he's willing to take the car till it's compact.
Indeed. Kenny, likewise. I mean, he had that back end break loose underneath his car, and the thing was just shifting back and forth, and he was still honing on as best he could.
Right, and that's what, in my eyes, that's what you got to look for as a teammate. Somebody that's going to take it down as far as they need to get however far you can and be happy with it.
Right. Did you ever expect that you'd be transporting the porta powers that are as big as they are that you see in the pits year after year at Blizzard Bash when you first got into Demolition Derby?
I think ours are too small now.
I'd be inclined to agree. I mean, we saw some 25-ton and some 50-ton porta powers in the pits last year.
Yep. Yeah, it's I mean, you know, when I first started, it was more or less just get the car running and the doors welded, so It's definitely a different game changer for ourselves.
Well, man, I wish you the best of luck. I'm going to have to go in and make that change. I didn't realize that was the change that you were alluding to. I knew that Shanley had some changes, but I didn't catch the transition there with Scott Svingen joining the national draw teams. That's a great pickup.
Yeah.
That's a real. You look at the list of names, and there's only going to be there's 16 teams in the national draw with 4 drivers each, so there's 64 slots to fill. And when you start thinking about that, there's some pretty heavy-hitting free agents out there. If somebody can hit on the right recruiting process, you can grab a free agent and change the dynamic of your team immensely, not just from the experience level, but from just from the driver standpoint, the familiarity with what you're doing in terms of the build and the way you've got to keep your head on a swivel and pick your shots.
Yep.
Is there anybody out there that you wanted to make mention of or give some recognition to as you get ready to move into Blizzard Bash 2017, we're only about 45 days away?
Give somebody recognition?
Anybody that you wanted to mention that helps get the car out there, gives you help in the shop, sponsors, anything like that?
Just Shanley Brothers, they do quite a bit for us, and we got a few. WRP for sure. Jeremy Jones, he's the man. Right. He's pretty excited. We asked him to be our sponsor, and he said yes, and he's excited to have the big WRP posted on the side of the cars finally. So it's always been a good feature for us, and I guess might as well make it the actual name. So
right. Well, Matt, it's always good to catch up with you. I look forward to seeing you when we get out there, and I wish you the best this year. Going forward, hope the build goes smooth, everybody stays safe, travels go well, and you guys can make it into the A-Main.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate you coming on the show for a little while. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. We'll see you in 45 days.
Definitely. We'll see you later, Matt.
Later, bud.
Bye now. There goes Matt Hoffmeister with Hofmeister Motorsports. Forgot to put his name up on the screen. Sorry about that, Matt. Didn't mean to do that to you. That's why. It's because it didn't save it. Now we know. We got to go back in and change all those. Okay, so we talked about it. Now we can use some details on it. As soon as we find it. There it is. Blizzard Bash 2017 at the Kansas Expo Center in Topeka, Kansas, running the 8th through the 12th. Action starts on Thursday the 9th, 4 o'clock start time. National and qualifying team round 1 for the national and qualifying team bracket. Their first round on track, 4 o'clock start time. On Wednesday night, that's the pit party with all the heat draws and everything along those lines. So we're looking forward to playing that one through. Friday the 10th at 9 o'clock, that's the RC Derby. There's a bunch of different divisions there. Those brackets are filling up quickly. And then at 6 o'clock, national and qualifying team round 2. Youth class will be on track then. Saturday the 11th at 10 o'clock, that's the double program. Limited weld team round 1 joining the compact round 1 at 10 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, that's the back half of that doubleheader. Power wheels, all the Team B mains. Trucks, youth, bone stock, all of those will be running. And then Sunday the 12th, national qualifying limited weld and compact team. A-mains on the schedule for a 1 o'clock start on that one. Let's see. Smash It Demolition Derbies is working on Blizzard Bash. They're also working on one more show. They've finished their fair season. They want to send a big thank you out to all the drivers, partners, and supporters who have helped make 2017 a huge success. They look forward to working with them in 2018 online, smashitderby.com. They've got one more show, 5 o'clock start time, October the 7th at the Fayette County Fairgrounds, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. $10,000 purse. It's full-size cleanup class, compact cleanup class, full-size street stock class, compact street stock class. Compact trucks, mild weld, mild cars, also part of that program. 5 o'clock start, again, October the 7th for Smash It's Fall Cleanup Show at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Coming up next this weekend, Saturday the 30th, San Filippo Smash at the Otsego County Fairgrounds in Morris, New York. There's a class for everybody. It ends with the Wipeout-style San Filippo Smash, where anything left running comes out and can battle for the cup. Limited weld rules are the max of the cars that are allowed, compacts, trucks, van, full size. Bring it out. Spinning Wheels Productions overseas at Jump Online, www.spinningwheelsproductions.com. They've got the San Filippo Smash sponsor shirts. They've got banners and everything that they're going to be raffling off, giving away. They've got raffle cars. They're doing the Diver Performance Motor. And then on top of all that, this is all going to charity. The goal is $25,000. Last year, this Demolition Derby was the biggest contributor to San Filippo awareness and research as they treat this at this point an incurable disease that affects kids, and want to see him be able to punch that thing out. So we're proud to be associated with it. We're going to be down there announcing. Josh will be there. He's got 8 cars he has to finish. One of the reasons why he's not here this week. So he's got a lot of work in front of him to finish up the stuff for the San Filippo Smash event. Let's see. Also coming up on Saturday, September the 30th, Battle of the Border 3, $50 per entry per class. Gates open at 9 o'clock. Derby's at 3. $4,000 to win Pro Stock full size, $3,000 to win Pro Modified full size, $3,000 to win Pure Stock Compacts full size, $3,000 to win 80s wire class, plus the 5-foot cars, full size truck, stock, minivan, light SUV, light truck, all running together. Modified mini V8 trucks, Pro Mod Compacts, youth classes for the wire compacts and stock compacts. Derby Dog Productions is in charge of it. DerbyDog-Productions.com online. It all happens at the Ashtabula County Fairgrounds, 127 North Elm Street, Jefferson, Ohio. Jump online if you want more details on Battle at the Border 3. They've got an insane purse, over $30,000 that they're going to be giving away out there as part of that one. Take a second to look into the future a little bit. Florida Southern National Showdown is coming up on the 10th of February. Two-man team Demolition Derby. 20 teams from all over the nation are going to be in competition. Hernando County Fairgrounds, 6436 Broad Street in Brooksville, Florida. Tickets are on sale now. Event info is also available online, HernandoFairgrounds.com. Jump online to find out more about that. We talked about Blizzard Bash here a moment ago. Again, you can jump online. We've got the link underneath our show post right now if you want to learn more about the Fantasy League for Blizzard Bash. We got to make that change and put Scott Svingen in there. That one slipped through the cracks. I didn't realize that Pete Hansen wasn't on a team after all. So Svingen joining Team WRP. We're going to be focusing a little bit more on what those teams look like when we get everybody here and get a chance to dive in a little bit deeper. We'll probably get Candace on the phone to walk through what all those team changes are looking like. To backtrack just 1 second to talk again about the San Filippo Smash, I saw Josh posted an awareness link out there for everybody who might be wondering about fix-it plates. If you got something that's pre-run outside of the limited weld class, everybody else is allowed, compacts, trucks, etc., they can put a fix-it plate. They can put 2 per side, and it's 4x4, pretty decent fix-it plate. And they can throw that on there and get their car out to run one more time as we get ready for San Filippo Smash. We got more shows to tell you about here in just a few minutes. We're going to run through, we run through those 5, and then we've got 3 more to tell you about here right after we talk to young Shawn Ingraham as he joins us. Hey, there's Shawn right there. Shawn, how are you? Doing okay. There we go. Let me put you in. So Shawn Ingraham joining us now on the hotline. Shawn, how are you?
Good. How are you, Chris?
We're doing okay, man. Congratulations on that win. That was an awesome run.
Thanks. It was a fun time. There was a lot of drivers out there, and it was a really fun and tough feature for me. I'm glad I got as good as a run as I did.
Walk me through what that night was like as a whole. I mean, it was not an easy path to the feature. You guys had to go do a little to get into that main event. You had to take the long way around going through the consolation event, and you were bumping into Imperials all night long until you got to that feature, and there was more hard cars waiting for you when you got there.
Well, the heat, I had some bad luck in the heat. Like you said, it was not an easy heat. Luckily, there wasn't big issues with the car after we got it back out to the pits. We took it into the Conti, me and my uncle did. We had pretty decent luck there. When feature time came around, and looking at the field of cars I was in there, you got to take credit for the Luminas. Richard King there, and I think it was Wade King.
Wade King did an awesome job coming away with 3rd place. He was out there against 5 Imperials.
You always got to take credit and respect the Luminas. I've seen them take the win up to Brookfield many, many times, many years in a row. And also, the Beers, both the Beers boys are out there. And
yep.
If anybody knows Derby, you got to respect the Beers. And I do. I've watched them growing up as a kid running and battling with my family. And that was a really hard heat. And I'm glad I got to share it with one of the best, in my opinion, the best on the East Coast is Mike Beers, and I'm glad I got to spend down the track with Mike.
He wasn't giving you any room either. What were those final minutes like when he was coming at you full bore? I mean, that big block that he had under the hood was hot, and your car was laboring, but he was bringing the fight right to you.
It was pretty cool, actually.
at that point, I didn't care if I won. I didn't care if I lost, because even if I won, it was cool. Even if I lost, it was even better, because I was holding my own against one of the best. And
right.
And if anything like me, that's a win in itself.
Sure.
It was a really, really intense. Really, I'm kind of still in shock about it. Really didn't know what to do when I got out of the car. I've never won before. I'm not, Mr. Fancy, get my picture taken and all that. I've never really done all that before, so it was kind of all new, and it was a really cool experience.
Mike Beers and Mike Beers Jr. qualifying out of their heat in the Imperials against you guys. Mike Beers getting Mad Dog in that round. Your car was laboring at the end of that, and it didn't seem like it wanted to. It really didn't want to cooperate. What was going on in the cockpit of your car, and how good did it feel to limp forward those final 6 inches and make what counted as the last qualifying hit?
It was, well, first off, the training was slipping a little bit. Transmission was having some issues. The motor was really, really hot. I wasn't getting any. My cooling system wasn't working. The gear was shot. My fan was shattered. My pulley was locked up. My belt was slipping. There was a lot of things going wrong up front for the engine, but it all worked out. And I'm kind of glad I got the W.
Did the transmission slipping have anything to do with the repeated neutral drops?
It was. Well, John peeked in my window, and it was against the reverse pin. It wasn't engaging, and then I'm kind of glad it was kind of good timing there. It popped back into gear and got me into the win. I was kind of excited.
What was that? Was that a fresh built transmission, or is that one that you've had for a while?
That one was ran. I had one run on it at Morris last year with my dad over at Morris Sunday night in the day heat, and after that, we couldn't run the feature after that because a whole bunch of stuff happened over there. So we brought the car back home and it sat out back for like a week and a half for wheel days, and that was about that.
So who's harder on transmissions, you or your dad?
What was that?
Who's harder on transmissions, you or your dad?
Man, that's a hard question. I've blown my fair share, and he's blown his too. His downfall was rear ends. He has the biggest issues with rear ends, and I don't understand why.
It's because you build the transmissions too well, and all that neutral dropping goes through the rear end and starts blowing pieces apart. We're trying to figure it out. I had a couple questions I wanted to run by you, but I'm trying to decide which way to go first. All right, so you had all the pulleys and everything were seasoned up on the motor. Is the motor shot as well as the transmission, or is that salvageable?
The motor might be salvageable. I mean, I still ran. I drove it on the trailer and drove it off, but it's making some pretty funny noises. I know when they stopped it the second time for I think it was a fire on Dalton Stone, I believe it was. I backed up against in front of you guys, in front of Becker and you, and I heard it making some funny noise. It was squeezing and knocking, and it wasn't very, very good. It wasn't sounding very promising. So.
And what engine was in that?
360 Magnum with a air gap intake on it.
Okay. So is that car shot now? I mean, it took some pretty nasty shots to the nose, but I couldn't tell if it was just sheet metal or if the frame started to buckle.
It did move a little up the firewall, and the driver's side front Y started to curl. But I think I'm going to restub it and take it to maybe Burlington Motor Park or, maybe maybe Fair Week next year for Morris. Maybe even living well the car. I don't know.
Well, there's still too much car there to get rid of it. That's for sure, right?
Yeah.
That was your. I'm trying to remember. That was your third Imperial?
No, that was actually my first. That
was your first?
I've only ran a Cadillac for my big cars. That was it.
I thought you were in an Imperial before. How about that? What'd you like? What'd you think then, getting a chance to go out there in that one?
Definitely, after running a tilted GM, I think they're 10 times harder, and I will run an imp any day of the week. Those are awesome.
It's like driving a bulldozer. You can hit whatever you want. You had some good power going down too. I saw it was you got a hold of I think he got a hold of Mike Beers Jr. and escorted him a long way down the track, put him up on the blocks, and he couldn't get off of there. And that was really where the tide started to turn in your favor.
Yeah, that's actually what Chad Winnie and my dad, Todd Ingraham, said after the feature. Like, really, after the circumstances that the heat went on in, that was one of the best things that could have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because that evened the playing field. You know, It was you against him. You know, I had a good time running against the best, in my opinion. Beersy is definitely nothing to hold back against. He's probably one of the best drivers that I know, and it was really, really awesome to share the track with him, and I will do it again any day of the week with him.
He's not gonna go out of his way to give you any room. And it was when Mike Jr. went out, Shawn was still in, Mike was still in, wasn't he? Or had Mike fallen out by then?
No, Mike was still in. I think Mike got down. I think my uncle took fourth, I believe it was. He got down to fourth.
I've got here 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got him down here as fourth. He in that 29K was doing some work too. Kyle Baker did all right for himself. 27X Chad Brown, he was out there. I mean, that was a classic Wheel Days field. All the cast of characters that you wanted to be out there to go knock around with, they were on the track, and you walked away the winner.
It was really a fun time. Like I said, it was a really tough field of drivers. I didn't think there was that many cars out there when I pulled out there, but after watching your guys' live stream video and everybody else's video, there was quite a few cars out there, so I'm kind of proud of myself.
Did you take any shots that were surprises? I mean, it seemed like you did a pretty good job of keeping the car straight, not getting sideways in the middle of the track, and not getting caught sleeping at all. It seemed like you did a pretty good job driving the car and keeping yourself in position to save the car as long as you could.
The one shot that did surprise me was right out of the gate. I came down, I blew through. I think it was a purple or pink 6-cylinder in the middle of the track.
Yeah, it was the Happy Toys car.
Blew through that one, and I got stuck against the wall, and Mike Beers Jr. came down and gave me a pretty decent one, and I was like, whoa, that kind of woke me up. I wasn't expecting to get that hard right off the start. Right.
Was that the hardest hit that you've taken?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the hardest ones I've taken.
not even like one close to it. It was the hardest one.
Yeah, that was the hardest one.
Your whole body go to sleep a little?
Oh, they done up my arm though. My elbow hurt pretty decent after that. I was definitely holding on with two hands after that shot. It definitely woke me up and made me cautious of who was around me, what was going on. It was definitely a shot to remember.
How much car counting were you doing at the end? I mean, you can get caught by surprise by those Luminous, especially with the front ends of those Imperials. It can come in and can get the front wheels, knock the steering out of it pretty easily. The bumper was nice and low on Wade's car. He was certainly poised to be a factor. How much car counting were you doing, and did it start creeping into your mind that, hey, I got a shot at winning this thing?
It didn't really start hitting me until I saw Beersy's car getting really, really hot.
Yeah.
And then it kind of sunk in, like, I might actually have a chance of winning this.
Right.
I saw how bent his car was, saw how mine was bending, and I was like, man, I might actually have a chance here. And that might have been a very big chance, but I knew I had a slim chance of winning.
Right. So just to paraphrase and make sure I understand completely, it didn't hit you until Mike Beers started hitting you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where's the car now? Did you park it out in front and let the neighborhood know what a winner looks like?
Yep, pretty much.
Well, it looks like there's still plenty left, and I think you might even have the opportunity to throw some fix-it plates on that for the next time you run it. So if it is starting to pucker a little bit on that one side, you should be able to Band-Aid that thing back together and be just fine.
That's what I'm hoping. It's been a really good car to us. Every time we've ran it, we've either qualified or been in the top 4 or 5. It's been a really, really good car to us. I hate to get rid of it.
How many runs does it have on it?
It's got one at Brookfield July last year.
Uh-huh.
Got one on Sunday night for Morris last year. And then it's got, the 3 I put on it Saturday. So it's like 5.
Okay. All right. Well, there's still plenty of car left. You can run those things like 14 times and they're still fine.
Oh, man. I believe it now. It's hard.
Well, man, is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of that helped get the car to the track, make sure that it survived and helped you to your win?
Definitely my dad had a huge part in it. My uncle for helping us haul the cars up there and back. Chad Brown had a pretty decent-sized part in helping us in the pits and getting the cars there back and forth and through tech. Donald Briggs there, Buddy Briggs, help us get the cars ready after the consolation event, getting us into the main event. And really the support and stuff from my girlfriend Lily and my mom and my sister and everybody else that came out to support us. It was a pretty fun time. It was definitely something to remember, and
no doubt.
That will always be with me.
No doubt. It was one to remember. One of the best features that we've seen out there. It was a nail biter to the end. I'm sure Mike and Todd are plenty proud of you parking that thing in Victory Lane. Congratulations. I don't know what else to say. I'm happy for you and impressive drive. Real nice job.
Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you coming on the show with us for a little while. We look forward, if we don't see you down at San Filippo next weekend, maybe we'll bump into you again before we get into the Fair Seas next year.
All right, thanks for the opportunity, and you guys do a great thing for the Derby community and the shows and everything, and it's really a good thing that you guys are doing.
All right, Shawn, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
There goes Shawn Ingraham, winner of the full-size class at Brookfield Wheel Days. We're going to get David LeDoux on the line here in just a few minutes, give you a couple more winners. Philip Stetson came away with a win in the van class. Jeremy Miller, Randy Miller. Randy Miller celebrating a birthday, coming through with second and third place. Consi winners, which we already knew about them. Big trucks. Joe Armstrong picking up his second career win after he won in the same truck back at the Otsego County Fair on Championship Sunday. That won in that big Suburban. Tribute to, I believe it was his father-in-law. And the number 19A, second place, going to the number 29K Kyle Losi. Had a great run. 911R was Kevin Rouse, and I think that truck might be just about done now. Mad Dog Awards going to Skylar Gully again after she got knocked around a little bit in the cockpit, but she was ultimately okay. Kevin Davenport, best appearing paint on his number 74, and he was out there in big truck heat number 2. The win went with number 22, Mike Green. He lost the right front wheel on his GM and still drove it to a win. It was a pretty impressive run for him. Number 21, Jordan Christofferson, coming home second place. John Facetta coming away with third. Dawson Beers in a ultra-quick limited weld feature, coming away with the win there over Mike Lapp in second, Mike Judson in third. The small car feature went to David LeDoux, who we're going to be getting to momentarily. Second place was the number 11 Carl Scheimer. Third place and Mad Dog Award winner Shane Curtin did it without reverse. Was an awesome run for him. And as we alluded to a moment ago, Shawn Ingraham winning in the full-size division over Mike Beers. Third place to the 33W Wade King. And that's it for our results. So again, we're going to be coming around to David momentarily. We can probably get this back to, let's throw this up there just so everybody can see that. Chaos in the Valley coming up here on the 21st of October. We're going to be back down in the Shenandoah Valley with Jason and Penny Shipe and the Tom Brook Volunteer Fire Department. The show's always a home run. Weld class is now open to Imperials and Hearses. The compact division paying $5,000 to win. They said that it could be more money if they get 50 cars. It's going to be insane down there. Looking forward to getting down there. Full disclosure, I don't know about Signal. I know it wasn't good for the fair. We'll probably end up running a local record and then doing what we did with Brookfield Wheel Days and uploading locally, because if it's not anything that we can have some success with, I'm not going to try it down there, because I know we've struggled before. Jason Shipe's in charge of it. 540-335-7510, 540-335-7510. Shenandoah County Fairgrounds, Woodstock, Virginia, Chaos in the Valley, 2017, held as the fundraiser for Tom Brook Volunteer Fire Department. Awesome show. Excited to be part of that one. Upcoming for Stern Dirt Racing, the last one of the season for them is coming up on October the 7th, the Run What You Brung Derby, and then the pit party. We're looking forward to getting out there for that one. Stern Dirt Racing, sterndirtracing.com. I had more information on that, and I neglected to save it. So we're going to have to go with that one. That is going to be held at that new venue in Salt Lake City. We're going to have Johnny on next week to talk a little bit more about that. It's an awesome double-stack coliseum. It's huge. Lighting should be spectacular. We're going to bring you an absolutely awesome year-end show out there, 4 divisions, and I think they're going to do a couple grudges and things along those lines as well. So it's going to be a real good time out there. Stern Dirt Racing, more details, sterndirtracing.com, October the 7th, Halloween Havoc. And that'll end our season out there in Utah. Looking forward already to May Mania coming up in 2018. And we're looking ahead to 2018 with this one as well, February the 10th, 2018, St. Peter, Minnesota. All the events are going to be one and done at Napa Winter Slam. Full-size weld class, there's no wagons, 35 cars max, 2,000 to win, 1,350, 750, 500, and 300. They're paying the top 10 spots in all the classes. 80s chain class, 35 cars max, 1,000 to win, 750, 400, down to the top 3. Light build trucks, 35 cars max, 1,000 to win, 600, 300, 200, 150 through the top 5. Compact, 108 inches and under, 35 cars max, 1,000 to win, 600, 300 through the top 3. And again, all classes paying top 10. Each class is going to have a heavy hitter, which is worth $300 in the trophy. The best paint gets $100 and a plaque. The longest tow award gets $100. Second longest gets $75. Best Western Mankato has rooms available, $99 for a double and $109 for poolside. 507-625-9333. 507-625-9333. Get a hold of Randy Miloslavsky and Jeremy Ertman for more details on it. There's the numbers, 507-327-1944 for Randy and 507-525-4290 for Jeremy. And so now, the moment that David has been waiting for all day. And we know it because he sort of told us about it. David is anxious to get on here and talk a little bit about what his experience at Brookfield Wheel Days was like, coming away finally, getting that monkey off his back and coming away with a win. And dial him up quick. Only about 2 minutes late for him, so that's cool. Told him we'd be calling him right around 6:45, so hopefully he remembers to charge his phone. There he is. Let me put you in, David. And joining us now on the line, the one and only Kool-Aid. Congratulations, man. Nice job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You stoked or what? You sound so excited.
Oh, I'm still stoked. I'm speechless.
Has it sunk in yet? I mean, you showed me some pictures of the car. The front horns on that thing were starting to bow back pretty good. The bumper's stuffed up where the headlights used to be. That thing was running super hot. It was shooting 6-inch blue flames out of the stack, and still was able to limp it across the line in first place after you had to battle it out with your teammate.
Yeah, that was a great experience finishing 1 and 2 with a teammate. He's been my friend my whole life. I honestly couldn't have asked for a better finish. I've actually been looking at the car with the teammates, and we're trying to find a way to possibly get it back out for San Filippo.
You got to pull the thing down, put the fix-it plates on it. You're allowed 2 per side, and just go run it. You're not a guy who goes out to run for wins. Usually you're out there chasing the Mad Dog Awards.
Yeah, I actually showed up to Brookfield just expecting to make 1 or 2 hits, just going for a big one, and the next thing you know, it turned out to be a phenomenal night.
What was the feature like? I mean, you've got a lot of cars out there. The car was obviously hurt. It was laboring. It didn't want to stay running. It kept stalling on you, but for some stroke of luck, it kept refiring. There was a couple times you were down to your last 8-10 seconds, but it would refire and you're able to get the hit on. What was that feature like? I mean, it had to be an exhausting run.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was a hard-hitting feature.
Yes.
I took a couple hard shots. I gave a couple. Once it came down to me and my teammate, I basically knew this is it. Something needs to be done. And either way, I was going to be happy with the result.
Right. Right.
It's an experience that I never had before, and it honestly couldn't have been any better.
How much work did you have to do after the heat? You got a hold of Crystal Schrader, and you were trying to push her out of the arena. And I don't remember who it was that got behind you, but shoved you both out of the arena, and you bounced off of the excavator. At one point, you had all 4 wheels off the ground. How much work did you have to do in order to get that thing back out for the feature? Or excuse me, you had to come out for the consi before that.
The Conti, I had to do absolutely no work. I pulled off of the grass infield that I was on, pulled back in line, went and paid my Conti fee, and went back out.
Yeah.
For the feature, I actually had to go and cut a small piece out of my K-frame in order to clear the shifter linkage because I couldn't get it in park to get its crank.
That's rough.
Other than that, I had to move my gas tank because one of my bolts had ripped through the floor and flipped over. And how it stayed running flipped over, I couldn't tell you. But I have to thank my team a lot for coming over to the pits and helping me get ready for the feature because I didn't have much time.
Right. I mean, that feature, you had about 10 cars out there, and you were laying the wood. You were making some hits. I'm trying to remember his name. Shane Curtin was out there doing the same thing. We're out there trying to run interference, thinking that Carl had the car to win, just to give him a shot at finishing in the money.
Yeah. I mean, I went out and I honestly thought Carl was going to take it. He had the cleanest car, and when it came down to me and him, I didn't think I was going to take it. And luckily, he got hot and he lost reverse. That's what happened over there in the corner. I was trying to get out. Luckily, I was able to get it fired one or two more times, put it in, try reverse, and work my way out of that berm enough to get that last contentional hit.
You had to push that car out of the way with a car that was overheating, and then you had to drive back forward, not get stuck in your own trenches from the holes that you had dug, and get it backwards again to travel. It was maybe a foot at most, to make qualifying contact. Was that the longest foot you've ever had to drive?
Yeah, I'm going to say I worked harder in that last 15 seconds than I did the whole week.
Yeah. What was the response from the team? I mean, overall, Steerface Racing had a pretty good day.
Oh, as a team, we were phenomenal. We all got together. We got our cars ready. We all made sure we made it to the Derby right. Everybody was good. We all had a very fun time. We were able to get together at the end of the night, have a nice little hangout session, go get some dinner. It was honestly a great night for all of us.
What's that? It was how much was it to win that?
What was that?
How much was it to win the compact feature?
$1,000.
And what's that money going to go towards?
Well, I got to buy my New Year's Eve ticket. And I'm trying to decide, honestly, if I just want to buy a nice toy for the winter or if I want to actually get into the RC Derbies.
Right. Mike Ritten told me that the rest of the money after you bought your ticket for New Year's was going to him.
What was that?
Mike Ritten said the rest of the money was going to him.
Nope. I gave him good boots out of it because I guess I owed it to him down the line. And I didn't mind. I'm a man who cleans my debts. But, I mean, everybody on the team, it was an amazing day for all of us. Dustin LaSalle came out with the tilted Vic. Had some bad luck. Dean came out in the PT Cruiser. He was overheating. He was able to make it onto the Conti, give me a little bit of help. Carl's Camry, we put a lot of work and time into, and it worked out really well for him as well.
He took a bad shot in that passenger side back door, and it weakened the side of the car significantly. And then he took a shot in that right rear corner, and it shortened his car a lot. And he was dragging around a lot of dead weight on that right rear side.
Yeah, it actually had pushed in past his spreader and flipped his gas tank over out of his floor, ripped it right out, and it was just kind of flopping around in the car by the end of the heat. But I'll give it to him. He was driving the best he could.
Mike Ritten had a great run in the trucks heat, got separated from Steve Humphreyville. Steve made a gnarly shot on the back of Cody Wood and ended up getting stuck deep in the back of that, and then ultimately backed off of it or got knocked off of it. And unfortunately, he was disabled, and I guess there was some confusion and definitely some lack of mobility. And he got tagged in the back, and it brush burned his face pretty hard, bounced him around, but I understand that he is okay.
Yep, Mike had a very nice run himself. As for him, he is okay. He said he's feeling all right. He did almost hit the wheel with his face. I'm pretty sure it was mostly his chest, though. He said he's a little beat up, but he's feeling fine. He said he's tough. He can toughen through it. And hopefully we can all just come up with a couple cars to make it out to San Filippo and support.
Perfect. Start throwing some fix-it plates on that Camry or give it one more run, because I don't know. It's a pretty special car. I don't know why it kept starting. It by all intents and purposes, that thing should have been dead long ago.
Oh, she should have been dead 3 runs ago. 5 runs on it.
I can't believe we got 5 runs. Now you're going to put a 6th on it after you patch it up.
I think I'm going for 6 with no patch.
No patches at all?
No, I'm just going to bend my rear subframe up out of the ground because it's kind of dug in, and I honestly think I'm just going to go out the way it is.
Well, that would certainly make it a lot easier for everybody trying to put cars together, wouldn't it?
Of course, because we have a couple cars that are a couple pieces away from being finished, and if we can put the puzzle together, it'd be nice to go down and support.
You guys going to meet at Pop's place before you roll out for San Filippo like you did for Wheel Days?
I would believe we are gonna.
Yeah.
We all met at Pop's right before Brookfield, and it felt good. It felt like good mojo, and it's something we got to pay our respects.
Sure. And so is San Filippo going to be it for the year, or you got one more to run?
We're pretty sure San Filippo is going to finish out our season. I might go down to Chaos in the Valley and watch.
Yeah.
Check it out. Go see Sean Guckenauer and those guys.
Sure.
We would all like to go as a team. We've been talking about it.
Right.
And we're all going to see what we have going on, who has to work, who doesn't.
Well, I can get you good seats. Just got to let me know if you're coming.
Yep, I'm positive, and I appreciate that. It was a fun time last time. I guarantee it'll be a good time again.
I'm pretty sure. David, man, congratulations on it. Is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of?
Basically, the whole Stereo Face Racing team. My car wouldn't have even made it if it wasn't for any of my guys, and it also wouldn't have made it for my buddy Andrew Dillon, who had towed me out, and Alan Mesler, who runs our local show, let me borrow his trailer because my trailer was actually out of commission. And honestly, if the pieces didn't fall together, I wasn't going to make it.
How hot was that motor?
She was hot. I tried to start her after the heat or after the feature, and she didn't want to fire. But we let it sit for about 20 minutes, and I pulled it right up onto the trailer.
I can't believe that. It's a good motor. All those aluminum parts are going to be melted into nothing after San Filippo.
If I make it up to San Filippo, I think I'm going to make it a point to tear the head off of that engine and see how melted it actually is.
You should. That would make for some good Facebook wall art for sure.
I'll probably save as many parts as I can and give them to Ryan Beal, and he can make up some trophies with Beal.
Sure can. Well, David, man, congratulations again. Justin LaSalle, I want to make a special mention of him. We took a look at that Crown Vic. That was the first time they've ever done a tilted car. Had a couple things to do, and we talked a little in the pits. He came out and executed his plan perfectly. The back end was starting to roll up nice for him, so I'm glad to see that first time through he had some success with that car. I know the next one's going to be better built. He'll be doing just fine. But wanted to mention him and his efforts as well. David, I appreciate you coming on the show again. Congratulations on it, and look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Thank you very much, Chris. I'll see you this weekend.
We'll see you later, David.
Yeah.
There goes Kool-Aid, winner of the compact class over at the Brookfield Wheel Days. That is going to do it for this one. We got just about a minute and a half left here, and we'll run through the credits and call it good. Again, glad that Skylar Gully's doing okay. San Filippo Smash coming up on Saturday. We're going to be out there announcing. Josh is going to be there. They're raffling off that diver motor. I mean, there's so many giveaways. It's crazy. And if you just have to bring a car, they will find someplace for you to run. And it's just a bunch of one-and-dones. Charity derby. Really, it's for a great cause. And they just sent that reminder out today that you're allowed the 4x4 fix-it plate. So you can put those on the car, except for the limited build cars. 4x4 fix-it plates. Pull them down. Run them one more time. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you get out there, support San Filippo Smash. Jump online. Also, check out the Crash Course page. You can find all the information on New Year's Eve party and on the 2017 Blizzard Bash Fantasy League. That's going to do it for this one from the North Park building here at Academy Square. We'll see you all next week.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. and Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah, online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.